recording started. All right. I think we're going to are you ready to get started, Jim?
I am.
Okay. Kelly and trying to see if there's anybody else from Hazen on board here.
I think we may have a couple folks come in. I think Kirsten and Sarah, but they're going to be listening in. But Kelly and I will be the ones presenting.
Okay. All right. Let me get this. Let me share my screen. I'm going to be the one presenting. All right, and I'll go ahead and get that started. That it started up on the wrong screen, but that's not how I wanted it to do it. Let me do it this way. Nope, it didn't work that way either. Okay, I'm having a little bit of trouble here. It's not letting me do the slideshow on the screen.
I think if you hit display settings, Natasha, it can switch to the what view. Yeah, hit that button.
Okay, that's how I wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That slideshow here and start it again. All right. So I'll start by welcoming everybody to the Jones Point Pump Station Community Information Meeting. My name is Natasha Schmidt. I'm the Fairfax County project manager for this project. And I'll start off with introductions. So once again, I'm Natasha Schmidt. I'm the project manager for Fairfax County. I'm with Department of Public Works and Environmental Services, Wastewater Design and Construction Division. And see if anybody else is on one line from my group. Not seeing anybody else. I've got a few people they might join in later on as we go on through the meeting. All right, so Hazen is our engineering consultant, and I will start letting anybody from Hazen who's on board may go ahead and introduce themselves.
Sure. So Jim Newbold with Hazen and Sawyer, the project manager for this project. And as Natasha said, we're the consulting engineer for the Jones Point pump station project. Kelly?
Hi, Kelly Landry. I'm with Hazen, and I am leading the Envision verification certification effort.
I think I see.
I think I see Kirsten Horn. Let me make her a presenter.
Okay.
Okay, Kirsten, you can introduce yourself now. You have to unmute your mic first, though. And Sarah Shea. Let me make her. So the Hazen people can unmute their mic.
Yep.
And go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Go ahead, Sarah. Let's see you beat it. Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Shea. I am a principal engineer at Hazen and Sawyer supporting design services.
And Kirsten, if you can hear us, you can unmute. So looks like maybe having some trouble, but Kirsten Horn is also one of our principal engineers with Hazen and Sawyer supporting the design effort as well.
Yeah, and I meant to let some other Department of Public Works and Environmental Services staff go ahead and introduce themselves. So I got Jennifer Hales. You can start with the collection division staff.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Howells. I work for the Wastewater Collection Division, Fairfax County. I'm a point of contact for this project to our division.
Sarah Ferentz.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Ferentz. I'm also with the Wastewater Collection Division, and I am our CIP lead.
Okay. And looks like I've got a few other people on board from the county. David Stinson, and I don't know if you want to introduce yourself or not. I know you're with
Sure.
yeah.
I'm David Stinson with the Fairfax County Department of Planning and Development, and because this project is a public facility, it will require what we call a 2232 review to ensure that it conforms to the comprehensive plan, and ultimately there'll be a planning commission hearing on this project. And
Scott Heriter.
Yes, my name is Scott Heriter. I'm the land agent for this project. So I'll be coordinating the appraisers and then sending out offers. Anything to do with the offer, please bring it to my attention and we'll get it worked out.
Okay, and then last but not least, I think I see Peyton Smith with the Board of Supervisors office on board. You want to chime in? You may.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Hi everyone. Peyton Smith with Supervisor Stork's office. I just want to encourage everybody in the community to, listen to this presentation. I'm certainly looking forward to learning more about the project. And if anybody has any further concerns that are not addressed at either through the presentation or afterwards, opportunities for comments, please reach out to our office. You can get a hold of us at 703-780-7518. 703-780-7518. I put that in the chat. And if there's anything urgent, my cell phone is 571-363-9782. So looking forward to the presentation. Thanks, Natasha.
Hey, you're welcome, Peyton. Thank you. All right, move on here. So this slide shows a project map, and we've got the existing pump station shown. It's on the property for the Riverside Apartments. It's owned by Elm Properties, and we've got an existing screening facility that's on that same property that works in conjunction with the pump station. There is existing gravity sewer line that runs through. We got a Fairfax County Board of Supervisors parcel that's sort of shaped like a Big Dipper, and then we've got a right-of-way strip. It's about 30 foot wide where we're going to put our new pump station site. That right-of-way is it's been confirmed to be county right-of-way, so we basically there's no parcel number for that, and we can pretty much use it for right now it's existing use. It's got a gravity sewer running through it, so it just makes sense to put the pump station there where we've got the existing manholes and everything in place. And then you see the Park Authority property just to the just off to the side of it. It's actually to the west, and then to the south we've got the Huntington Mews townhome community. And I'll let Hazen take this slide and tell you all about these 3D renderings.
Sure. Thank you, Natasha. So
You're welcome.
These two renderings were developed using our latest design. So the design that we're completing is being done in Revit, and so that's a drafting software where essentially we can develop 3D models of the new project. And so what we have here on the left is a view of the proposed pump station from the existing levee access walkway that's near the existing pump station. And then the rendering on the right is actually from the vantage point of the Huntington Mews community. So here it's showing some landscaping as well that would be developed and finalized as part of the zoning review and site plan development and any other permitting requirements that come about from this project. But this gives you kind of a good idea of what the final pump station would look like, with the chain link fencing and the slates to give privacy and to minimize the visual impact of it. But a pretty confined footprint for the station.
All right. And I'll go over the meeting agenda. So the overview, we'll discuss, we'll present the information on the existing pump station, benefits of the project, the proposed pump station, access to the proposed pump station, tell you all about the envision verification that we are pursuing, and the anticipated project schedule. Then we'll open this up for questions and answers before we have the meeting adjournment. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put them in the Q&A or the meeting chat, and we'll try to cover those first before we open up for, a few more questions if needed. So the existing pump station, I'll tell a little bit about it, and I'll let Hazen maybe add to this. But the pump station was built around early 1970s, and it's reached the end of its service life. It's got some maintenance issues. That there's corrosion and leaks that are evident inside the pump station, and the existing building itself is unsuitable to retrofit under modern standards. We've also, when we built this pump station over 50 years ago, the Huntington levee wasn't there. So that presents some other issues as well with being able to do retrofitting of this. But Hazen, you're more than welcome to add to this if you've got anything that I haven't covered.
Sure. Yeah. So what I would add as well is, the new station would increase reliability of the collection system and the service to the community, and also improve operations and maintenance for county staff. So it's modernizing an existing asset that's in the area and that's needed for current and future service. Other than that,
All
Natasha,
right.
I think you covered it well.
Okay. The project benefits. So I'll let Hazen go over this slide.
Sure. So I kind of touched on the increased reliability. So essentially, one of the things that kind of help put that in perspective as well is when the collection system is functioning properly and reliably, there's less impact to the community, such as a reduction and mitigation of like sewer backups into your home. There's reduced maintenance costs going forward. That the reduced cost of the county is a benefit to the community as a whole. And also, the station is designed based on anticipated future growth. So we essentially when we designed the station and took care of the planning efforts ahead of time, we were thinking about current needs, but also future needs, so that we have a good useful life for this new station. An additional aspect of this is, as was noted previously, making sure that this project's in alignment with the comprehensive plan. Part of that was reviewing future growth and development in the area and making sure the station is going to be sized to accommodate that, and to also be mindful of the adjacent properties such as the park authority next to it, the ability to blend it in with the residential surroundings, utilize, and what you saw in that rendering as well, kind of utilize screening of the station as much as possible to reduce that visual impact to the community, and having a reliable pump station that is modern and serviceable is an improvement to public health, because it maintains the what's collected in the collection system. It ends up going to its final destination in a controlled way.
Yes, and ultimately where all the wastewater in this location goes to is across Cameron Run and 495. From there is the Alex Renew facility that treats this wastewater.
Mhm.
And then I'll let Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Natasha. I'll continue on here. Yep.
Yeah.
And so here is showing a visual, more or less a graphic of what the main components are in the new pump station. So on the far left, we have what we're calling the influent manholes. So essentially, as the sewer flows are combined into a common manhole, and from there, it is conveyed downstream through a grinder vault, where there are mechanisms and equipment in place to grind up any large solids that are in the wastewater to protect the pumps that are in the wet well. So the wet well is where the influent comes in, is collected, and the pumps then pump it up to the appropriate elevation where it can then be transitioned to gravity and make its way to that Alex Renew treatment facility that Natasha mentioned. Some of the things I want to point out here as well is it was somewhat hard to see in that rendering because of that fencing that we put around there, but most of the new infrastructure is below grade, with some of it being, like almost looking like a concrete curb, and then handrails around it, which you can see in these images. The building that you saw kind of the top of in that rendering, that's the control room where we would have the electrical panels, control panels for the equipment. And so being mindful of the way in which that building is going to look architecturally, and then also just kind of understanding that most of the structures are below grade. And then one of the things that we wanted to point out as well is the anticipated lifespan for the station. So we anticipate the station to be in the serviceable life of it for about 50 years. So that's when we typically design things to last around that 50-year time frame to ensure longevity, and that we're designing in such a way that it can handle current flows and flows in the future. And so, for instance, the future flows we're anticipating, we're looking at flows in that 2045 and beyond time frame. And so, when this station reaches the end of its useful life, beyond the time that hopefully I'm retired, it is going to be reevaluated for either rehabilitation or maybe a similar replacement. But at that point, this station is going to be maintained and operated reliably for a long time.
All right. Sounds very good. I mean, move on. And
Okay.
this is the access route to the, to and from the pump station, how vehicles would access the pump station.
Mm-hmm.
So they right now with the existing pump station, pretty much all of our traffic comes in what's called Mainstay Drive. That's actually the parking lot for the Riverside Apartments. And that's how all of the access is going to and from the pump station. With the new pump station going inside the existing right of way, we're proposing to, have a entrance off the end of Hunting Creek Road through the existing right of way strip. That basically doing that minimizes the amount of easements and land acquisition we have to get from other properties, since we've already got rights to that strip of land. And then that would go straight through. We're minimizing easement acquisition from the park authority. It's minimizing tree removal doing that. And then we're providing an alternative access as well. There's an existing levee road on the top of the levee dam that this would allow our stormwater staff to be able to get on and off that levee if needed during a situation where the other way off has got it's blocked by flooding. So in some of our more rare storms, there's still some flooding that occurs down on the other end of that road. And then we have another entrance that would come out at the apartment parking lot. So it would sort of be kind of like a loop around almost, different ways in and out. And if Jim's got anything to add, feel free to before I move on to the next slide.
No, I think you're good. And I think the next slide may show some of that site.
Yes, so
proposed
this
site as
gives a little
well.
bit better
Mhm.
idea and how it's going to all be graded. And there will be little gates, so a little triangle bar type gate at the end of each one of these to keep unauthorized vehicles from accessing this. There'll be a fence around the pump station just to limit access from the public into and out of the pump station. So the maintenance staff will be able to get in and out. There'll be some extra parking there for the maintenance staff just outside the pump station that they'll be able to park and then go in to do whatever's needed. And occasionally, so our maintenance staff will be making visits to the pump station several times a week as needed. Sometimes it might be more frequently, maybe a once a day type visit to the pump station, make sure everything's going okay. And occasionally, on an as-needed basis, they might need to have what's called a vacuum truck come into the pump station. That would be the largest type of vehicle that would access that. And so this would allow that vacuum truck would be able to come in from one direction and drive straight through and come out the other way, out where the access road meets the apartment parking lot. So, Jim, if you need to add anything else, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that covers everything, Natasha.
Mhm.
That was good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, Jim, I'll let you take over this slide.
Thank you. And actually, Kelly, this is a good one for you to cover.
Yes. So what we wanted to do was just share and talk through some of the anticipated project impacts and how this project is going to mitigate those through various strategies. All of these are also detailed in the 2232 justification report. So with respect to visual impacts, this was talked about previously. There will be the new control building generator that will be visible from the Huntington Park and neighboring homes. But to mitigate that, as mentioned, we'll have the privacy fence surrounding the pump station area to help shield it from shield the facilities from the park and neighboring areas, as well as landscaping around the pump station to kind of help also bring in some of that natural area. With respect to lighting, there will be some new exterior lighting added to the facility to help facilitate maintenance and operations. It will be at a minimum, we'll try to limit the amount of new lighting that is there to just what is really just needed for maintenance and safe operations for the staff. But all exterior lighting will be controlled by a switch and also will be designed with full cutoff lenses to reduce light pollution. And this is also in alignment with Fairfax County's lighting ordinance and trying to be protective of the dark sky. With respect to noise, there is going to be a new emergency generator that's going to be installed, but it's really not anticipated to need to be run very frequently. We're estimating maybe 50 to 60 hours per year, and that's primarily meant for just trying to run the generator to make sure it's in operations and running properly. And so with that, the generator will be provided with a noise enclosure that's rated for 55 decibels at the full load. And also, since it will be located within that privacy fence, those slats will also provide a little bit of noise mitigation as well. And then similarly, with respect to air quality, the new emergency generator, again, will be designed to meet all air pollution, air control quality standards. And also, again, it's not really anticipated to be run very significantly, just very minimally on a yearly basis. And so not really anticipated to have a significant impact on air quality. And then again, for water quality, the site layout will result in a slight increase in impervious area, just with the additional structures that are being constructed. And so all stormwater runoff will be collected and managed for that. And then finally, for transportation that Jim and Natasha have talked through, the 2 access roads will be constructed for the pump station, but maintenance and traffic is not, as Natasha mentioned, is not really anticipated to be very frequent, maybe visits 1 to 3 days per week, just to make sure that everything's operating properly and having staff come by to do some periodic maintenance for the facility.
All right. Sounds good.
Natasha.
All right, we got this is the site selection prioritized, minimizing impacts to neighboring areas. So, Hazen, you're more than welcome to present this slide.
Yeah. So I think what we also wanted to talk through, and I know this was something that was looked at, extensively in terms of trying to identify the ideal siting location for the pump station. And so really, the intent there was to minimize the impact to the neighboring areas and make sure that, this is the optimal location. And so some of the key takeaways is that as we look through the siting location and all of the various resources within Fairfax County, I just wanted to reiterate that the project is not located near any historical or cultural resources that are at least registered at the county level or at national, state or national registries. We are anticipating having, we're trying to minimize the impacts to County Park as well as the residential housing around the area by constructing primarily within that right of way, leveraging landscaping to minimize those, prioritize maintaining those views of the area. And leveraging screening to make sure that we're shielding the pump station and maintaining that open space view within the neighborhood. The project is located partially within RPA, and so the impervious area for the project will be minimized to the extent possible. And then, as mentioned, we'll leverage tree planting to enhance the views. And also, the project is not anticipated to impact any of those existing trails within the park. So that'll all be maintained as well.
All right. All right. This is the Envision verification. I'll let Kelly continue on with the presentation of this one.
Yeah. So this project is going to be pursuing Envision verification. And so for those that aren't familiar with Envision, it's really similar to LEED in terms of it's a sustainability framework that is meant to help guide sustainable design for infrastructure. So instead of LEED, which is primarily focused on buildings, this one is much more garnered towards infrastructure such as roads or in this case, a pump station. And so Envision is a third-party accrediting agency for sustainability, and the county is pursuing this Envision Silver certification for this project. The county has achieved Envision awards on a few different projects within the county that you're welcome to look up, but it really just demonstrates that the county is trying to become more sustainable and make sure that what they're constructing is not only they're building the right project, but they're doing it the right way. And so to achieve the silver status, the project team must adapt the design and demonstrate improvements within various categories within the Envision framework. And so demonstrating that the project is enhancing quality of life, is demonstrating that they're leaders. The project team demonstrates leadership within the realm of sustainability, resource allocation, as well as natural world and climate and resiliency. And so really the benefits of Envision is that it helps encourage collaboration with the community and stakeholders. It'll help increase resiliency and preparedness, as well as reduce negative impacts on the community environment. Could potentially result in cost savings through gaining efficiencies, as well as increasing public confidence and involvement in decision making.
Right. And I'll go over the anticipated project schedule. So currently we are at 70% design, and we're currently doing a review of all the 70% design documents. The project's about to go into the land acquisition stage. So while that's going on, we will be working on the Envision application, getting that submitted and going through the 2232. I don't really have that kind of covered in this slide, but once land acquisition is complete, which we anticipate will be early next year, we'll have the bid ready documents in April of 2026. And then we'll do the bid advertisement and receive bids in July 2026. The construction contract award would occur in September of next year, with the construction notice to proceed happening in October. And the project would have about a year and a half time frame from when we get notice to proceed to when it's substantially complete in March of 2028. And then I'll enter into a 1-year warranty period where contractor, if anything happens to go wrong during that 1-year period, they are basically accountable for mitigating anything that comes up during that time. So at this slide, I'll go ahead and open it up to questions. But first of all, let me just I'll go back to this slide here after we get through the question and answer session. But we do have a project website, and this is the file path for it. I've got a QR code there that you can scan that with your phone. But this is the website address, and I will be posting updates on that about at least quarterly, sometimes maybe more frequently as needed. And this is my contact information. So I think most of you've got my email and phone number and all of that from the letter that went out for this community meeting. I'll go ahead and open this up for questions. Let me see if we have anything in the chat. Okay. Looks like we so Toshan had asked what is an RPA, and RPA is a resource protection area. And then okay, Anna says, first of all, thank you for the presentation. Have a question about traffic during construction. Traffic situation turning in and out of Huntington Mews neighborhood using Hunting Creek Road, which is our only left turn exit's already dangerous. Having construction trucks, etc., added to the mix during construction will make it even more unsafe. Does Fairfax County have any plans to address that? And I know for anything we're doing on Hunting Creek Road, we will need, we'll need to go through, have a VDOT permit for that entrance that we have coming off of there. And if we're going to have any sort of traffic flagging and stuff, that's going to have to be according to VDOT standards. So I don't know if maybe Jim could chime in any on this concern.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a good response for that, Natasha. There are going to be requirements for the contractor for making sure that they're accessing the site safely. We understand that it is a busy area. The contractor is going to be given access, locations for the site where they can have laydown for their equipment. And so we'll be, making sure we're in communication with the contractor once that contractor is selected.
All right. And let me make sure there's nothing in the Q&A. I don't see anything in there. That's, for some reason I got a little thing come up, said there's a problem reaching this app. So maybe that just doesn't work, but I'll go ahead at this time and unmute the microphones of everybody else here. So I'll be allow mics. No, there's a quicker way to do this or not.
So this is Toshin Campbell. I'll chime in on behalf.
Could you speak up a little bit, Toshan?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So it sounds like this is kind of a fait accompli, and we don't really have much choice in it. But I would like to voice that we have had unwanted traffic on this road on a regular basis. Notably, there was a carjacker who drove through this area thinking that those roads connected to Riverside and ended up going through some people's yards. We've had a couple instances where cars that were stolen were unloaded on this road. And we're just curious about the impact of the perception that this road will continue through to Riverside. Even though there's a gate there, like the carjacker, for example, broke through the gate and then drove through the actual yards of the neighborhood. So that is a concern, as well as what Ina has expressed. We only have the one road for left turns, and I think there will be kind of a unforeseen impact after hours if there's a perception that that road continues.
Okay. I'd have to maybe get back with you on that. I mean, there's other ways. I mean, I know we've got another road that Cameron Run Terrace. I don't know if we would necessarily want to try to put construction traffic through that or not. I think we're trying to keep with the existing sanitary sewer easements that are already there on site. Otherwise, we would need to get more, let's say, temporary access easement from the apartments to get over to the pump station site. So it's just another option that I'm thinking of, but I know that it would result in needing additional land rights to do that for at least temporary access. Of course, if you're familiar too, I think approximately about 8 to 10 years ago, they had the project for the Huntington levee. So I'm not certain entirely how the construction vehicles accessed the site for that during that project.
Yeah, so that was going to be kind of a follow-up question. So in the presentation, you mentioned that for, what was it called? If there was a need for levee traffic, so there's a route through the levee for that. It seems a little bit more direct and substantial. Because there's large trucks that drive through there all the time. I see them almost every day. And I'm just curious. I know that we have an easement right away that's in place with you all, but the Riverside community already has a functioning road. I'm curious why that wasn't the kind of primary route, and or the existing levee road being the secondary route.
Well, the levee road, I think part of the problem there is the width of that in some places is not very wide in being able to handle construction traffic. I don't know if Jim can add to
I
that.
can, sure, I'll add a little bit to that. So as well, the and that access road, the levee access road, would also have to kind of go through a gated area that's for the stormwater pump station property as well. And so it was something that we did look into when we were evaluating kind of access for this site. And Natasha's correct, making sure that there's sufficient width and access for the larger traffic that will happen on occasion for the pump station.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the concern too, heard Toshan mentioning something about, sounds like you've got some criminal type activity with these carjackers. I mean, I'm trying to envision what they're doing here. So they're dumping vehicles off in your all's neighborhood?
No, no. So I could share the videos with you if you need, but there's two specific instances that come to mind. There's been more that hadn't been directly caught on camera, but they see this as like a closed. So the traffic through here is very kind of contained, very regular currently. But they see Hunting Creek and they think that it basically opens up to the Riverside Apartments. So if they overshoot the Riverside Apartments, come down Hunting Creek, it dead ends there. And if they they end up there, and in one of the instances that I'm thinking of, they literally parked like 3 or 4 Kias, dumped all of the personal contents for the owners of the vehicles, and then left down Hunting Creek again. Right. So then the second instance, there was a car chase. Police chased the carjacker through the neighborhood, thinking that they could escape through Hunting Creek and go toward Riverside. They ended up making a loop on the Foley Alley, coming back and going through the backyards along Hunting Creek. So again, it's just the perception that that road continues currently that is attracting this element. I'm just curious what an actual road that does continue
Yeah, we're
Whoa.
gonna be putting a barrier there, but I mean,
Yeah, they tore through the barrier. That
yeah,
wasn't even a
well,
problem.
I mean, we cannot, there's not a whole lot we can do to change criminals from doing what they're doing. And
Right.
you're describing Kias, it sounds like it's that the social media trend where
Exactly.
the Kias and the Hyundais
Yeah,
and
exactly.
hot wiring them and being able to drive off with the car. And I don't know, if it's something we'll note. If I don't know if I have really very good direct answer for you right now on that though, but might have to get back with you on that.
Okay.
Natasha,
And
do you mind if I jump in?
who am I
What?
talking to?
Sorry.
Sarah, go
I
ahead,
was just going to
Sarah.
try and give a little bit more that might be helpful. In the rendering that Hazen showed, it was just a quick rendering. It's not going to be like a chain link. It's going to be a metal like barricade that has like a car would not be able to drive through it, or someone wouldn't be able to like break it at the front of the driveway. And then on top of that, all of our pump stations have CCTV monitoring. And in station areas where we have more sketchy areas or, instances of vandalism, we do put up signage where they're saying it's, you're on surveillance. This is no trespassing, those kind of things on the outside that help deter that kind of trespassing nature. But that main gate that would be at the front would be PFM standard metal, and PFM is Public Facilities Manual for Fairfax County. And there's a standard metal gate that can't be driven through, and there'd be bollards. So if someone were to try, their car would be messed up.
Thanks for that answer, Sarah. And I guess we could put that video surveillance CCTV sign right there at the gate and,
Absolutely.
deter the, try to discourage anybody from driving, even attempting to drive through the gate. So it might be a positive for the community if we have the CCTV surveillance that would capture that kind of stuff. These people would be, they wouldn't be able to get away with too much if they happen to get on camera. Does that help, Toshan? I think you're muted. Did it help answer your question or? Did anybody else have any questions? If you do, unmute your microphone and ask or put it in the chat if you're having trouble with the microphone. And if you don't get, if something happens to come to mind after we sign off from the meeting, feel free to email me. We'll do our best to answer your question and respond back to you. But one of the things that I'll do after this meeting is the slideshow will be converted into an Adobe PDF format and put on the county, on the public webpage for the project. That way, you'll be able to go through the slideshow after this meeting's long over. So once again, I've got the website link right here that you can visit to find out more about the project and just keep up to date on it. And this is my contact information where you can reach me, and I'll do my best to respond back to you within a day or two. Anything else? Anybody else want to add anything before we sign off? Well, hearing nothing, I'm going to consider this meeting adjourned. I thank everybody who joined us and attended this evening, and I thank Hazen for helping out with the presentation.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Natasha.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.